Well, here we are, and just as a follow-up to our conversation that we were having the other day, the idea that it was time to change the batteries on our smoke detector, and I came and I realized that it wasn't just the battery that needed, it's actually this smoke detector, and so we were talking about that, but then we thought maybe we should talk to the real experts. So today we have Linda, and Linda from our local fire department here is going to teach us a little bit about fire alarms and when we need to change them and things like that, because it's kind of important.
Absolutely. And there is a bit of a misnomer that particularly the hardwired smoke detectors just last and last and last. They have the same 10-year lifespan as any battery-operated smoke alarm might. And the other thing to keep in mind is you said you went to change the batteries. A lot of them have a 9-volt battery that needs to be replaced at least annually, if not more, and tested as well.
Yeah.
Every couple of months at least. Just push the little button.
Yeah, I was guilty of that too. I always thought because it was hardwired, it didn't necessarily need a battery. And so that's...
Now, a lot of the newer ones you can purchase with a 10-year lithium battery, so you don't have to do that changing, but you should still test it periodically to make sure it's working. And some of the confusion is we have just a smoke alarm, we have a smoke and CO alarm, and they all function differently. So the law now says we must have a smoke detector outside of on every floor and outside of sleeping areas, and you want your CO detector is now legislated required outside of every sleeping area. So if you have a bedroom in the basement, you need a CO detector outside there as well.
I had a question on that note.
Okay.
With carbon monoxide, somewhere along the lines, someone had told me that it's better to have it lower than higher because the monoxide is low.
Absolutely. So smoke rises, so you want your smoke alarm at the highest point in your room, whereas carbon monoxide is a much heavier gas and it stays low for a much longer period of time before it mixes with the air and goes up. So much as these combination CO smoke are very popular now, it's still, in our opinion, good to have your CO detector plugged in to a plug down nice and low.
Awesome. So a question that I always had too is, sometimes you can get your own personal fire extinguisher, and I know I thought that that's sometimes a good idea, but is it okay, or do you have any other recommendations on that about, how a homeowner might, tackle a home fire? Is that a good thing, or is there other things they might want to consider too?
So it's always good to have a fire extinguisher in your home. It's your first line of defense, particularly if it's something small that you can get on top of right away. If it looks to be out of control, it is. And, we're always say, get out, stay out, call from outside, have a meeting place, all those pre-planning, right? So that particularly with families with small children, you want to be sure that they know where everybody's going to meet. It should be in front of your home so that the first thing when we roll up in this truck, we can assess that everyone is safely out of the house.
That makes sense. Well, that's a lot of great information, Linda. Thank you so much for doing this. I think it's really important to spread this type of message out to the community, and really want to thank you for doing this.
Thank you for inviting us along.